My brother.
Sorry for the Chiefs. You haven't been good for
Ready to go, Brad? Good afternoon, folks. Thanks for coming to the Hardrock Sports Luncheon, Coaches Luncheon today, Tuesday, January 15th, 2019. Special thanks to Lynn's Brothers Pizza for sponsoring today and bringing the meal. Fantastic. Lynn's Brothers Pizza. I have some really good news and I have some sad news. The good news is my daughter turns 10 years old today. So after school, her mother is going to take her and they're going to do their toes and their fingers and their nails and all that good stuff that I don't need to be involved with. And then we're taking her out to dinner. I do believe we're going to Olive Garden. So the sad news is I had to make a tough decision after Saturday's women's game and let somebody go from their duties at the table. I had to fire myself from running the shot clock because I failed on multiple times to stop the clock when it needed to be started. And I figured I would steal a little bit of Coach Larsen's thunder before he got up here too, because I'm sure that's in his 45-minute repertoire today. But all kidding aside, I used to do that, and I don't remember being that fast, to be honest with you. I guess things slip with age. Dixie State, if you haven't been paying attention to RMAC News, put out a press release last week that they have accepted an invitation to Division I, effective July 1st, 2020, to participate in the WAC, the Western Athletic Conference. We are going to have meetings next week to discuss schedules, which will occupy a lot of our time at the NCAA convention and the RMAC meetings. So come the fall of 2020, our schedules will all change. Today, campus convocation is from 2 to 3. I do believe the president will be putting out our campus strategic plan and giving a state of the college. So if you have nothing else you'd like to do, then come see what's going on campus. Stop over at Surback at 2 to 3 and check out what's going on. Track is heading down to Shattern this weekend. Basketball's on the road at that other school of mine south of us. And then Saturday they're heading down to Colorado Springs. You can catch those games at GoRockers.com. Before we bring any coaches up here, I just want to remind everyone that we cannot comment on injuries that took place during our athletic events, in women's game, men's game, or in practice or anything like that. I can point you to Tom Mann and he can talk to you about his shoulder surgery if you'd like to talk about injuries. But we will not make any comments on anyone that was injured in our athletic games this weekend. So with that, I am going to bring Coach Larsen up here to lead us off, and I do believe he has a guest.
All right, thanks, Joel. Before
bring Jess up here. She's got class at 12:32, so I'm gonna give a little spiel about her, and she'll come up and introduce herself, talk a little bit. But you did take a lot of my thunder there. I had a whole, comedy routine about your shot clock display. I didn't know you were running. I had no idea. I kept giving Larry the crook eye, like, what the heck, Larry? You're a pro at this. What's going on here? And then, Joel's credit, he did come apologize to me at halftime, and we're good. We're good. I mean, you only cost us about 6 to 8 points, but we pulled it off. Yeah, Jessica Lohrenz here today. Jess is the second year of the program. Jess, how I kind of describe Jess to people is, and I've told her this, so this isn't a big shock to her, but she could be stranded on a desert island somewhere in the Pacific Ocean. If there happens to be human life form on that island, she would make friends with them and probably end up being mayor of the island, or otherwise she would befriend all the animals on the island, create a Swiss Family Robinson type deal, house there, and survive just fine. She's just an absolute winner as far as putting her best foot forward in everything she does. Tremendous student, really good athlete for us. One thing I really want to compliment Jess on, and a lot of our team is, Coach B and I told Jess at the beginning of the year, hey Jess, stay ready, okay? Stay ready, be ready when your number is called, and be ready to perform. Because she really wanted to see some time this year. Last year was her first year in the program, kind of felt her way out a little bit, learned the systems, learned the school, that type of deal. And she really wanted to get on the floor and contribute and help us this year. And she's done that. She's really done that. She's stayed ready. She comes to practice every single day, works really, really hard, gets everyone, not just herself better, but the rest of the team, especially the post players. She's seen some pretty good minutes, and then there's been games like Saturday where we just had some, tough matchups at times. At times, they move around their two best players position-wise from the, guard to post and stuff like that, and vice versa. They're trying to match up with us a little defensively, and there just wasn't, enough good matchups out there where I could get her in enough. But there was one situation during the game where play was stopped. We had an injury. We had 2 injuries. Mel's got a bloody nose. I'm counting. We got 3 guards. Derek, our trainer, the men's trainer's taking care of Melissa Johnstone. All right, Jess, let's go. Here we go. She goes in, gets a huge bucket for us. Just an absolute huge bucket. That's not easy to do. All right, when you're sitting, on the bench, watching the game, doing your best, being a cheerleader and stuff like that, and then have to switch modes and get in there and really contribute. That explains Jess to a T, and that's one thing about our team, this year's team I just really, really love. We've got a couple kids that are doing a great job that way, but Jess is definitely leading the charge there. I can't say enough good things about her. Just a great human being, tremendous teammate. Every single one of her teammates looks up to her. All that she does, she's just a joy to be around, and I'm really glad she joined us last year. So, enough battling. Jessica, come on up here, give us your talk, and I'll finish up when she has to head out to class.
Really nice introduction. Well, I'll start off by saying my name is Jessica Lohrenz, and I am a junior here, and I'm majoring in geological engineering. And I came here as a transfer student, so I didn't come my freshman year. I went to a junior college out of high school. I actually am from Littleton, Colorado, and then I went to Northwest Junior College in Wyoming, and I played there. I was there for 2 years, but I redshirted my freshman year because I tore my ACL. And so I played 1 year there, and then I transferred here. And it's actually really funny because this wasn't even on my radar to come here. I really wanted to study petroleum engineering. So I told my junior college coach to email all the Division II schools that had petroleum engineering. And I said I really like mines because I grew up in Littleton, and Colorado School Mines is right over there. And I just said mines. I didn't say anything. And she, being from Wyoming, was thinking of South Dakota School Mines. And so it wasn't even on my radar. And she emailed them, and then she came back and she was like, I got a little story to tell you. Mine's interested, but it's the wrong mine. Oh, okay. And so I looked into the program, and I saw geological engineering. That was something I was interested in pursuing, and came over here. I had a visit, and I really appreciated the culture of the team that's been created here. For those of you that don't know, there's a big culture here at Mines that the women's basketball team is close. We're best friends. We travel in a pack. And that just happens because we happen to all just be, I don't know, we just click. There's just good chemistry on our team, and we're all friends, and we're known at school like that. So that's a really good culture on the team that I really liked. So immediately when I was on my visit and I spoke with the girls and hung out, I knew I fit in and I would like it here. So really happy I came here, and being here has given me a lot of good opportunities. I just recently completed an internship this summer with Halliburton, and that was really nice. I got to spend my entire summer in Wilson, North Dakota, which was super fun. I got to live on, I'm glad I wasn't there this winter, actually. I got to live on site, and get the full engineering perspective and work as field engineer, and that was awesome. And it was a really good opportunity. And from what I've spoken to, there's a lot of other people who have had really good opportunities at their internships, and I was really happy to be able to learn firsthand experience. And I don't know what else to say. I'm really having a good year here. We have a good team here, and with every adversity that we've had this year, I feel like we have trust built in each other on our team, where we've been able to look down at the end of the bench and with not discouraged, but just know that somebody else is going to step up. And we're down to 7 now, and we still have the same trust in each other that someone will step up and that we'll continue to do well this season. So, does anybody have questions for me?
So what did you do on site this summer?
I lived on site, so I worked with the MWDs and the measure crawl drilling engineers, and then the directional drillers. So yeah, most of the people there live on site. So you have the rig crew, which is part of the rig, and then you have the engineers. So they all have trailers on the site. And when you're doing different jobs, you get a leave. But when you're drilling, you normally stay on until the job's done, until you finish a pad, which is do a couple wells. And so I did 30 days on, 10 days off. So I gotta live on site, and you do 12. You do 2 12-hour shifts. So you do one, and then your buddy comes and does the next one, and that's how it works. And it's pretty. I actually got to do a lot. There wasn't any other. Nobody wanted to come to Wyoming, I guess. So it's just me. I was based out of Casper, but I worked in Wilson. So they just had me and didn't really know what to do with me. So they just threw me into work, and I learned a tremendous amount. I couldn't even tell you how much I learned. It's really awesome.
Plus Williston in the summer.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been to Williston.
It's not.
It's not.
There's not a lot going on. And it's goofy because everyone up there's on that weird schedule, so you don't know if it's Tuesday or Friday. You don't know what time night, the rig crew's getting off on a Tuesday, they're at the bar, you just don't know. You come down, you think it's Saturday night, and it's not,
Yeah, what time does the sun go down during the summer up there? It's almost midnight.
Yeah, it would be pretty late. And there's lots of mosquitoes. I don't know why I thought it's so cold. There's a lot of standing water up there.
Halliburton in the future then? Yes.
I think I'd work for Halliburton. I'd be up for that, but I think as any aspiring engineer, everyone wants to see themselves at the big time, the Chevron, Exxons,
Sure.
those are the operators, so that's the dream, but I would absolutely, I think so you really get respect at working for an operator. You should work for a service company first and pay your dues and know what you're talking about before you.
Well, it sounds like you're taking the steps in the right direction, so good luck to you.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Jessica?
Good luck the rest of the year.
I wasn't referring to Wilson as a, Pacific desert island when I said that about Jess, but might as well be. I can say that because my dad grew up in Wilson, still have family up there. But yeah, enough about that. Good weekend for us. Friday, good team in Regis, there's no doubt about it. I thought we played extremely well. We defended really, really well that game. Regis does a really good job of running multiple sets and putting their best player in a lot of different ball screen situations. And we used a new concept against Regis's high ball screen. Threw that in a couple days before we played them. Had to refer to Coach Glenn a little bit about it. He gave me some good ideas that worked really, really well for us. And credit to our kids for really executing that defensive game plan. After that ball screen situation that Regis likes to put you in, they're the best. Well, they take the most threes and they make the most threes in the RMAC. And we held them 0 for 10 in the first half from the arc, and that was a really good showing on us, defensively. A lot of credit to Taylor Molstead setting the tone for us defensively because she was the one handling that high ball screen a lot. Initially getting matched up against Majesty Robinson, Regis's leading scorer. Did a really good job there. Mr. Mann, before I forget to say this, asked me a really interesting question. Saturday, after our game on the radio at halftime of the men's game, he asked me, just kind of describe how good of a defender Taylor is. And I said, well, best way for me to put that is this. I get surprised when Taylor gets scored on. I really do. And, I'm a freak show, admittedly. And Saturday's game, she gave up a basket to probably one of the best scorers in the league against that Jordan Bear kid from Colorado Christian. And I got mad. And afterwards, I said a few choice words to Taylor, and she kind of gave me the crook eye, like, really? You get your tired butt out there and guard this kid. And I'm like, yeah, you're right, Tay. Okay, all right, let's go. Get another one now. But just a big-time defender. Taylor is such a really good, just a tremendous defender, and she set the tone for us, both Friday and Saturday. She had some really tough matchups, both games. Did a fantastic job. And offensively, Friday, I'm not going to complain much either. I'm really not. Last week, I was standing here, we got to run better offense to get better shots. Well, we ran good offense. We did. We ran really good offense, and we got good shots. The problem is the ball just didn't go through the basket. I can live with that. Okay, I can live with that. The ball did not go in the hole, even though we had really good shots. That's the game every once in a while. Steph Curry misses some shots quite a bit. James Harden was 0 for 16 from the arc the other night. Okay, that's going to happen. So I was actually very, very pleased with our offensive game and the shots that we got. But obviously you got to score more points than the other team. Yeah, never fun to lose, but we did take a big step there. I was really proud. Defensively, we're coming around. We are really coming around. The last 2 weeks, I can't say enough good things about our defense and the way we're executing, how we're guarding teams, stuff like that. Really making big strides there. And this is how you have to be defending at peak level this time of year to win basketball games or give yourself a chance. We're definitely doing that. So I'm very, very pleased there. Saturday. A great showing by our kids. We had a lot of kids playing a lot of minutes on Friday. We came to shoot around cut some shots up, talked about how we're going to defend Colorado Christian. They have two dynamic scorers that they do a really good offensively job of putting them just in really hard spots to guard. Okay, if you guys saw Jordan Bear and witnessed just the kind of tough shots that she makes, she is a handful, an absolute handful to guard. And it's just, you know, some teams, they put their best scorers in spots where you know they're going to get the ball, and that's pretty easy to guard. Okay, Coach B had the scout for Colorado Christian, and all week we're talking about, man, we are really going to have to be on point, communicating and having vision on these two basketball players, the Jordan Bear and the Sarah McGinley kid, just because they put them in so many different spots and really, really hard to guard. They screen a lot, you know, they move a lot, and the way they transition, you know, a lot of teams, you know, offensively, one kid's going to run the right wing, another kid's going to run the left wing, and you know where they're going to be. Well, Colorado Christian, they'll put those kids all over in different spots in transition even. So it's tough to match up with them. You know, first half we did a good job on both those two. In the second half, at halftime, you know, one thing that we really talked about is, hey, they're going to start getting these two the ball. Okay, they are really going to start to focus in on getting Jordan Bear and Sarah McGinley the basketball. We have to do them, you know, we have to stay on top of this. And we did. We guarded them really well. They just made a bunch of shots and some really hard shots. But the thing that we had going, we finally made some baskets. And we broke 60, which is, we haven't broke 60 in quite a while, and that was huge for us. You know, one thing that we did offensively, you know, we, again, Coach B and myself, watching Colorado Christian throughout the week, we knew we could play a little bit of mismatched basketball with them, where we just kind of took out one action, what we do normally offensively, and we looked to attack them in the post a little bit more than we normally would against some other opponents. And what that did was, you know, it gave Anna and Molly and Melissa a little bit more space, knew where they're going to get the basketball. And the other thing that Colorado Christian did, or does defensively, is they like to double down from the perimeter. And so therefore, we knew where our guards were going to be, where they could kick out and just get some easy 10 toes on the arc threes. That was great. That was a nice little adjustment that we made. And the kids executed flawlessly. You know, it's a simple adjustment, but the kids did a tremendous job. You know, sometimes as a coach, you worry about that stuff, okay? You know, are we giving them too much information? Are we deviating too much from what we normally do? Even though we thought as coaches it was pretty simple stuff, sometimes, it, you know, kind of, kids get mind blown a little bit. But we didn't. We just executed very, very well. It was a good win for us, a really good win. I told the kids yesterday, you know, if you were there, if you saw the game, you knew some things happened that, you know, pretty adverse situations for us. And I'm not sure I've been involved in a game where I've seen just a group collectively come together the final 12 minutes of a game and just show some absolute toughness and grit and find a way to win the game. You know, I have to think really hard. I'm still thinking about a game I've been involved with as a player or coach where, man, we just outgutted and really pulled out a good win for us because, you know, we played 3 guards down the stretch. That's what we had. There was 12 minutes left in the game, and I looked at Taylor, I looked at Michaela Shackley, and I looked at Sammy, and I said, well, you guys are going to have to finish this out. And on the bench, we were secretly getting Anna kind of prepared to play some perimeters. You know, if we had to play at the guard. But those kids, what an effort. What an effort. If you see those 3 guards, all right, this week, you give them a big old hug from me and, you know, buy them extra water because they really need to hydrate this week with the minutes that they put in. So I can't say enough good things about the way we overcame. We executed down the stretch, we made our free throws, we got the shots we wanted, we got the stops we needed, we rebounded. Just a tremendous win for us. Really happy with our group. Doesn't get any easier this week, that's for sure. Going back on the road at Colorado Mines Friday, who's playing really good basketball. They struggled early, but they're kind of hitting their stride a little bit offensively and defensively. Then Saturday, you know, Colorado Springs is playing well too. A lot of kids are going to play a lot of minutes for us this week, but they're taking that challenge on. You know, they really are. That's one thing that we talked about quite a bit yesterday was, you know, these adverse situations, you know, these are the times that you can either feel sorry for yourself or you can accept it and make the most of these challenges. Kind of look at our kids right now, and they're really looking forward to accepting the challenge ahead of us and putting our best foot forward. It's been really fun. It's been a really special group. We've come a long ways in the past week, and I'm really looking forward to the way we're going to start playing the rest of the year here on out. Brad, you got some clips for me? These are from Saturday's game. Some really nice clips Brad put together for us here. They're all offensive, which is great. Here's a really big time move, post move by Anna Haugen. She's been working hard on her finishing and doing a great job. Great aggressive play by Coop there, attacking baseline. Taylor relocating it, or I guess that was Shaq relocating the corner, hitting a three. Really nice executed set. Taylor set a great cross screen because she set a nice screen. She was open on the down screen. Nice defensive here by Anna, getting going the other way, leading to a Cooper transition three. Nice little ball screen action here. Taylor getting 8 feet to the rim. Nice little pull-up jumper. That's a big-time weapon for her. Great pass. Melissa to Molly. Another action that we specifically worked on that we thought we could take advantage of. Great job by the ladies. Here's a hustle play by Melissa, finding Cooper wide open on the arc, knocking down a big three. And you talk about a big basket right here. 5 minutes to go, Anna going strong to the rim. That was a big hoop, no doubt about it. And then, yeah, that kind of stretched at the end there from the free throw line, which is great. Mr. Mann asked me another great question at halftime of the men's game. Sammy Stefica shot 2 free throws all year. You must have a lot of confidence you're putting to the line with knowing that you have to follow them. I said, well, yeah, I watched Sammy shoot free throws all week in practice, and she doesn't miss, so I have no problem doing that whatsoever. Great win for the Lady Hardrockers on Saturday. Way to bounce back from a tough defeat Friday night, and I mean that. Again, I'm not being positive Ryan here. I think it started last week in practice where we just had a little different tone about us. We had a little different effort. We had a little different focus in the way we practiced. It definitely showed in both those 2 games this past weekend, and we're looking forward to continuing this little momentum that we got going on right now. Any questions for me? Covered it all? I did. Larry, what am I at? I bet Larry I was going to bust 25 minutes today. 2.5 minutes?
We're good. Don't
Okay. I was going to go with my shot clock routine, but I was going to let it be, I guess. Hey, thank you guys for your support. We'll see you next month.
Our next coach up here we're going to have Wyatt give us a update of what's going on in esports.
Hi, how's it going, everyone? So I'm going to talk about our upcoming season and the summer camp that we're going to host this coming summer. So we just found out yesterday that our first match is going to be against Augustana University, which is, we're excited to go against them, and it's a pretty crazy coincidence since there's around 11 states in our conference, and we just coincidentally got another school in South Dakota that we'll start off against. So we're looking forward to that. That's going to be next Saturday at 3 p.m. And we'll live stream that on twitch.tv/SDMinds_esports. And hopefully in these next luncheons this semester, I'll have some highlights for you guys so I can start introducing the game to you guys a little bit. And I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, definitely cheer us on. I didn't even know Augustana had a League of Legends team, so I think that means that we're sitting pretty good in our chances at taking them out. All right, so now to talk about the summer camp a little bit. We're calling it Esports Leadership in Computer Programming. So we want this to provide a resource for developing esports players while introducing important life skills. So campers will undergo talks about leadership, teamwork, strategy. They'll be placed on teams to simulate game-based scenarios. And then we will introduce computer programming concepts to the campus. So we're hoping to cover a lot of bases there. We're going to be hosting this camp for 3 weeks this summer, starting June 6th to the 14th, and and then the following week, June 17th to the 21st, and then we'll have our last week of camp, July 15th to the 19th. And all of those weeks are going to be split into 2 sessions. So we'll have a morning session and afternoon session. So there'll be, we're going to cap each session at 12 campers, so we'll have 24 campers per week. So it's going to be a lot to juggle, and we're looking forward to it. Luckily, I have a few computer science majors on my team, so I'll pull a couple of, or 1 or 2 of them up to help me instruct the camp for the summer. So yeah, that's pretty much what we got going on. We just know about this Augustana match so far because how our season works is it's a Swiss bracket, so depending on whether or not we lose or we win, we'll play a completely different team the next week, which is nice because it doesn't really, it prevents us from looking too far ahead into our season. We're really just focused on the match ahead of us, so yeah, we're excited for next Saturday. Any questions?
So Augustana having a League of Legends team and that being a surprise, what's kind of the tone that you're going to set with the team for this weekend or in preparation of that?
Sure. Yeah, so we found out about the match yesterday right after a scrimmage against South Dakota State University, which we performed pretty well in. So we already had some momentum when we found out about the match. So our confidence was kind of through the roof. Yeah, the fact that we had not even heard about Augustana's team makes us even more confident that we'll be able to take them out. But we're definitely gonna work hard for it. Yeah. Oh, can I answer this question?
Answer that.
Do you do any scouting of the other teams like Ryan and these guys do? Do you scout other teams or is that part of it?
Yeah, that's exactly what we do, and we don't want to go into a match with not really knowing what we're getting ourselves into. So we look up the players that we'll be playing against, and we'll see kind of what strategies their teams have been implementing, so we can see their whole match history. I can theoretically look at every single game their teams played together and see what strategies they've implemented in that game and how we're going to kind of counter those strategies. So there's a whole lot of scouting involved. And then I had a question about how many games are in our season.
I'm withdrawing the question.
Anyway, I'll answer it anyway. So we'll play 6 games, and it will be every Saturday starting next Saturday until the first weekend in March. So we have six definite games, and then if we go 6-0 or if we go 5-1, we'll move on to conference playoffs. So we're just focused on getting some wins here in our first season. All right.
Next presenter, Coach Glenn.
Thank you. Before I get started, I'd like to, if you don't know, I'd like to introduce my wife, Lorna. She here brought our daughter, Josie. Wives behind the scenes really are the ones that keep the support going, and appreciate everything she does for us and keep the family rolling while I'm out on the road a lot, especially this time of year. And you know, Ryan, she knows a little bit about what you went through this weekend. You know, they were at a school in Kansas, and they finished with 4 players there. And I don't, Coach Mann, remember who that team was? That was Fort Hays State, and the coach was Coach Mann. I think they got you in overtime. No, was it in overtime, right? Yeah, I think so, in overtime. But, well, the thing is, at Fort Hays, and Lorna's team wasn't the injuries. You know, they had all the girls, including Lorna, that fouled out, down to 4 players. And what we didn't know when we went there, this is when I was at Shadow, we didn't know when we went to Hayes that you know, they had a thing for it because of the budgets, that they had their season ticket holders officiate for them. So that was, no, it was quite a game actually. So have fun with Coach Mann on some of those things. But We had a good weekend as well. Our first night against Regis was a team we knew was a very good team. They were right up there at the top of the league. They have a player there that Jared Rodbeck, as you saw, is a heck of a player. I think he's one of the top 2 or 3 players in the conference. We put our freshman Monty Hayes on him, who's been really accepting of a role of taking on the best perimeter player that we face, usually in our scouts. And the big thing about Brodbeck, if you have seen the history of us with him, is that his eyes get really big when he sees us, and has had great games, and it seems like the rim is about twice the size that it normally is, and especially from about NBA range. So we were obviously concerned about him. Damani did a tremendous job, and Will Dixon did too, because he was on him for a little while, and they held him to 2 for 11 shooting from the three-point line. But being the great player that he is, he found other ways to score. He still got his 21, but he really had to work pretty hard for it. So we were really happy with that effort out of those 2 guys. And overall, defensively, our first half, we had some breakdowns, and they had a pretty good offensive start to it. In the second half, I thought we defended a lot better. And we actually got a lot of good stops, multiple stops in a row, where we had some opportunities to try to get ourselves back in the game. Unfortunately, we just weren't able to knock down some shots to get that done. So at the end, obviously they were able to kind of just wear us out at the end and keep their lead on us and move on. Coming to the next day, we really focused on our guys. Again, you don't have much time to think about it. It's a Friday, Saturday deal, and you got to move on to the next game. And so we really challenged our guys to step up and be ready to go again against a team that had a huge win the night before against Black Hills. Obviously, it was a big upset, and they were shooting the ball extremely well, which they're capable of doing in Colorado Christian. They had 4 guys that are just really, really good shooters. They spread you out, which create a lot of gaps in the defense as well. And so it makes it pretty tough to guard them. We really challenge our guys to get into them and really make them uncomfortable, not allow them to take the shots they were able to get in the Black Hills game and just be in that comfort zone. And our guys really stepped up to the challenge with that. I was really pleased. It's probably our best defensive effort since we've come back from Christmas, so from start to finish. And I think the results speak for themselves in that. And so be able to do that when they were riding high and really feeling good about themselves, and just totally take them out of everything that they wanted to run. Obviously, they still knocked down some shots. They have a really good player as well, an Engel kid, but overall, we were really able to do a tremendous job there. And then offensively, things really started to roll for us, and we have 3 guys right now since they've been back from Christmas, in Mitch Suker, Logan Ellers, and obviously Alec Williams. Right now, between those 3 guys, we're shooting close to 58%, and they're shooting the majority of our shots. So that's really a big reason why we're starting to have some success on the offensive end as well. And I think going into the game, we did have 4 guys in double figures, and Troy Brady obviously had a kind of a tough weekend. And he'll bounce back, and he'll get himself back up there. He's just like 0.5 away from being double figures, and he gets back to 4. And Damani Hayes is pretty darn close too, and he's really, as you can see, really coming around and starting to score, and starting to see his scoring opportunities as well. And so he's right there on the brink of getting double figures. If we can get 5 guys in double figures, that's going to make us pretty darn tough to defend. I mean, you just can't focus on 2 or 3 guys at one time. So we're excited about that going into this weekend. Really a tough task, obviously on the road against 2 of the top offensive teams, 2 of the top teams in the league. Obviously, Colorado Mines is a team that's just efficient. Is probably the best way to explain them. They don't do anything fancy, but they're very fundamental. They're very disciplined. They're very deliberate, and guys just really do a good job of finishing plays, and they make it really tough. They've been just really putting up the points lately. I think they're right up around 90 points a game right now. That's where they're scoring, and they're not really a fast break team. Their numbers are just incredible when you look at them, and so just an impressive group. For us, we're obviously a big challenge is number 1 is to control their posts. They do have 2 good posts inside, and we're going to have to probably bring a little help with that. And then they stick a bunch of shooters on the outside that shoot over 40% from the three-point line. So it's a tall task that way. And so we got some schemes we're going to throw at them. Try again, make them uncomfortable, not allow those shooters to be comfortable spotting up out there, and we'll see what happens. Usually see us on the other side, it's probably a little bit more of an up-tempo team. They like to get up and down. And so for us, we're probably going to try and get them to play more of a possession game. And they really rely on a lot of possessions for them to score. And we want to try to trim that down and make every possession really count a little bit more for them and see if we can't put them in a little bit more of a comfortable situation also in that position. So overall, really like where we're at. We continue to get better in all aspects, you know, obviously on the basketball side, but even on the mental side. There was plenty of times in the Regis game where, you know, for a team like ours that's young and still trying to find some things, and a veteran team like Regis that just kind of kept us at bay and kept kind of just keeping us arm length away. For us, we could have rolled over and just died, and we didn't. We just continued to keep battling, kept finding ways to get stops, and got great shots. Got some great shots and some stretches. Just could not knock it down. And so, but from a mental standpoint, I was really happy from where we were at. And we just continue to talk about it. We don't play the scoreboard. We just continue to stick with what we do. And eventually, you know, at the end, we'll see how it all works out. And the guys really did that. And so, you know, you do that over and over, and you're going to get where you're going to get pretty good and be able to handle those situations. And those shots will start falling, and we'll be able to come out on top in some of those situations. So excited about what we got ahead of us, this challenge. It's going to be a fun deal because, you know, we've been through a little bit of this in the pre-conference. We talked a lot about our pre-conference games, how they prepared us. They prepared us for the situation. And our guys are anxious to go test their mettle against some of the best in the league this weekend on the road. Guys, Brad's got some clips for us, which I believe is from the Colorado Christian game. And right off the bat, I believe is Damani hitting a three, and like I said, his shot just keeps getting better and better. He keeps working with Coach Treneful and Coach Reichert. So we come off our little ball screen into our ball screen motion. Guy lays off him, thinking he's just a driver, and he's starting to prove that he's starting to develop an outside shot as well, and they're going to have to come out and guard him, which is going to make him even stronger. Obviously, Alec has just come back and is having a tremendous start to the second half of the semester. He's finishing, he's knocking down shots. Like I said, he thinks it's the goggles. That's great. We'll let him believe that. But you know, the bottom line is that he's getting results, and so he's making great decisions. He's put the ball in the other guy's hands, like Logan here, just making a good, strong post move. Again, Logan's shooting about 65% right now from the field. We got to continue to keep feeding him down low. Good fast break here from Alec to Troy Brady. And here again, coming off ball screen is Jake. A little throwback to Jack. You know, Jack is a guy who's coming off the bench. We just tell him to keep shooting, and because he's knocking down shots, sometimes he's a little hesitant, and we told him not to be so hesitant and start knocking down some of those shots, and he got 2 of them in this game. Did a great job of filling some spots there. And then again, Alec with another finish. They just really had a tough time with him, obviously, that day. He's dynamite quick. In my 14 years, we haven't had a point guard like him. We've had some good point guards, but we haven't had anything like him. And so his quickness has really started to challenge some people, and his efficiency in where he finishes and his decision-making is really coming along. You know, it's almost night and day from where the first semester was. And so that's making a big difference for us on the offensive end, because now people are really having to dedicate a few more people to helping on the penetration, because they're just going to rely on a post guy to handle him. It's not going to happen. He's just too darn quick for those big guys. So excited. We just keep getting better, and it's a lot of fun, having a blast with them, and we're really looking forward to getting going again this weekend. Any questions? Tom, nothing?
You did such a great job.
Well, thanks.
Where did you come up with that story, that Bath Peyton's story earlier?
I was there and I witnessed that. I know when I played that there was a white-haired gentleman, and he would referee the girls' game, and then he would sit right there front row of the men's game with all the other boosters and alumni. So it was home cooking. You guys might have got a little bit of that in Shack or 2 of those days. So. Thank you very much. We'll see you again.
Our last coach today is going to be Coach Johnson. He's going to give us a recap of what happened this past weekend and preview what's going to take place at Shattuck.
Okay, so
Well, first off, Coach Glenn, I took my boys to see the game on Saturday night, and the next day in the driveway, my youngest was pretending he was out. Well, that's next. So we went over to Black Hills State for a meet on Friday last week. We had Black Hills State, Dickinson State, and Rocky Mountain College all at the meet. That first week back is always interesting because we go into our first meet. We only had 4 days of practice, so we really are just, honestly, the meet really just tells us whether or not they got anything done over the Christmas break. And so the biggest thing that we look for is we look to see how it compares to what they did at that meet back in December when they had all fall to train and get ready, and then see what they did do at this meet. And we were pretty satisfied with what we got done on the day. We had 30 top 5 finishes. We had 9 PRs. We had Erica got another provisional qualifying mark in the pole vault. So it was a pretty good start for us overall. We saw 3 first place finishes: Casey Skillingstad in the pole vault, Cody Allen in the shot put, and Darren Nissen in the long jump. In fact, we looked really good in the jumps. We went first and third in the long jump, 2, 3, 4 in the triple jump, and I think we were first and third in the men's vault as well. So saw some really good things. Saw a lot of people running at or close to where they were going into the break. The difficult thing is that there's only 4 teams at the meet. So what we really have to see is where we go from here, and that's where this meet this next weekend comes in so handy. The meet is actually going to be on Sunday, which is kind of an odd one for us. We don't usually compete on Sundays, but there's a wrestling tournament down in Shattern, and so they had to move it to Sunday. This will be a good test for us. Colorado Mines and Metro State are both going to be coming up, and I know when you hear Colorado Mines, you've heard me talk a lot about their distance guys. Here's the thing with Colorado Mines. Colorado Mines has spent the last 3 years really building their multi-event program, so they're good at everything. And so this is going to be a real good test for us, a real good chance to see how we stack up against other teams in the RMAC. If we can stack up well against Colorado Mines and against Metro, then we know that we're going to be okay against some of the others. This will be a real interesting one for us too. When we go to Black Hills State, we run on a 200-meter track. That's considered the standard in indoor track is 200 meters. We go down to Shattern, it's I call them an oddball track. It's 180 meters. It used to be 170, then they took out the 2 inside lanes to make it 180. So I suppose you do with what you can with what you got. But what it makes it real difficult for is, particularly for our sprinters, what it makes it hard is that it means they spend most of their time running on a curve. But when you're running on a curve, you can't build up a lot of speed. And for the distance runners, what it does is it throws them off. They like to have nice even splits, especially these engineers. They like to know, if I'm running a mile, that's 8 laps even. So but then we go to Shattern, and guess what? The mile's not 8 laps. It's like 9 1/4 or something. And we run the 3K. Fortunately, they're not running the 5K because that's like 32 laps. That really blows their minds. But running the 3K, it's something like 18 2/3 laps or whatever, and they have no idea where they're at in the race at any point. I like it because they can't think as much. It kind of shuts their brains off and they just have to race, which is great. That's exactly what we need to do right now. But it kind of drives them nuts sometimes because they're really, really driven by those numbers, a lot of them. And so that's something that I think will be a good experience for us, and kind of helps us too to get onto that undersized track because they take and they convert all of our times to whatever track the track type is that it's hosting nationals. So the NCAA recognizes that running on a short track, so less than 200 meter track, is more difficult than running on a 200 meter track or larger. They also recognize that if you run on something larger than a 200, that you have an advantage. It's easier to run fast on those tracks. And so they'll take and they'll adjust those times. Well, anytime you run above 3,000 feet, the sprinters get a penalty added to their time. The theory comes out of the Mexico City Games where they found people ran faster and jumped farther if the air was a little bit thinner. So now we get a chance to go on that undersized track, and that's going to negate any penalties they would have gotten by a lot. So, I mean, our 200-meter runners, if I remember right, they get something like a half a second, which if you think about it, 200 meters and getting a half a second, that's huge. That's basically finishing about an extra 10 meters ahead of where they were. And then for our distance runners, they'll get both an altitude and a track size conversion, so it's like double bonus for them. So we're looking forward to it. It should be a good opportunity for us. Questions?
I just figured out why I'm not a track coach, because there's too much dark math in it.
Yeah. The funny part is, this math doesn't have letters in it, so they can't do it.
Steve, I saw a couple pictures up here. One, I saw you, it looked like you were giving instruction or yelling or someone in the Black Hills State coaching staff was doing. What are you telling those athletes? It looked like a distance. What are you saying when they
So usually what we're doing, I try to get some of our kids to give them their splits. That way I don't have to think about splits. I like to watch the race. I like to look in the runner's eyes and see what they're feeling. You know, they say the eyes are the gateway to the soul. Well, the eyes tell you exactly what the runner's real shape is. You know, you can look at their body language. I've seen runners that are running with their head down and they look like they're about to start falling and fall apart, but they're strong as an ox because you look in their eyes and you can tell. And so what I'm usually doing is I'm looking at, okay, what do I see the other runners in the race doing, and what can I pass on to them? You know, so like with Addie, you know, I could tell when the Black Hills State runners were getting ready to make their break. Well, Addie's sitting in, I think she was sitting in about third or fourth at that point. Well, she needs to know that break is coming, or she's not going to have a chance to recover and try and have a shot at winning that. So that's what we're trying to do, is make sure that they know what's going on in the race outside of them. And frankly, it's also a little bit of trying to just get them to be confident in themselves and know that they can go that extra lap or that extra quarter or half mile that they need to go.
She was running unattached in the fall, right?
Yes.
But she's now?
Correct. She was out of cross-country eligibility. So what happened there is that we knew she was going to be 5 years. And she decided, I asked her going into the fall last year, if she wanted to finish her cross-country eligibility with the kids the women that she came in with, or if she wanted to save it to have a full senior year. And she opted to finish with the women that she had come in with. And so that gave us the opportunity in the fall to use her kind of to help hold along the pack a little bit in our training early on, and then we were able to start focusing on some of the track side of it. And she'd already redshirted in track, so just made a natural choice there.
With your math, you said that half a second equated to 10 meters.
Oh boy.
It sure feels like it.
How many people can run 5 second 100
Well, friends, are they already started? No, it's. I mean, that's what it feels like, though. I mean, it's a pretty. When you're watching it, it's a huge difference having that. You know, and frankly, that's the difference between are you in the final at the conference or are you not? It's going to come down to a tenth of a second or less. So getting that, and frankly, because we have to qualify into our conference meet now, the difference between are you in the conference meet or are you not is going to be a tenth of a second. So if we give up, what is it? It's about 600ths or so of altitude adjustment. That's what our altitude penalty is roughly, is around 600ths of a second. And then we get a half a second back, we're looking really good at that point as far as where we sit when we compare to other teams. And those times don't just get compared to our conference, they get compared on a national level as well. Other questions? I'll let you know if they run 5 seconds.
Thank you, coaches, for a great sports lunch today. Thanks for everybody coming. Does anybody have any questions of me? Nope. That's okay.
doing some shot clock training this week?
No, I will not be doing any shot clock training this week. No. Thanks again for our sponsor, Lynch Brothers Pizza. Next week, we are at Pizza Ranch at 11:30 start time. I will not be there. I will be down in Orlando at the NCAA convention, the RBF. Rough. And so looking forward to that. And but you'll be in good hands with Maria and Brad. They'll take care of you. Just remember, our athletes' time at South Dakota School Mines is temporary, but the Hard Rock life is forever. And I appreciate everything that everybody does here for our athletes. And today, like every day, it's a great day to be a Hard Rocker. Thank you.